Hey guys, Surex Gaming here, back with another Mortal Kombat 12 discussion video, and today I'm just going to be listing a few things that I would like to see in Mortal Kombat 12, and some things I don't want to see. As I'm sure most of you are aware by now, Mortal Kombat 12 has actually been confirmed by the head of Warner Bros. Discovery as coming this year, and whilst we still don't have any idea when the game will be revealed officially by NRS, I thought it'd be fun to speculate a little on some of the things we could see that might improve the game, in my personal opinion. Just as I said just then, this is all my opinion, and if you disagree, feel free to let me know down below what you would like to see instead, and I'll try to read and reply to everyone's suggestions. Without further ado, let's get into the list and begin. Coming in at number 1, the first thing I wanted to talk about were the minigames. Bring back the damn minigames. Mortal Kombat 11 had just about no minigames whatsoever, all of them were removed. Test Your Luck, Might, Sight, all of them gone. You could fight with modifiers in the Living Towers, but that was restricted to whatever nonsense modifiers the game decided you had to endure for the whole tower, and they weren't anything like the ones in Mortal Kombat 9 and MKX, and when I say they weren't anything like them, I mean they weren't fun. That's what was missing, the fun. Not to mention Test Your Might being excluded, despite being in MKX and MK9, and even better minigames like Chess Combat from Deception. Let's get them back in MK12, or maybe even some new minigames to break up the repetitive sort of gameplay loop like Mortal Kombat 11 had. Moving on to number 2, my next wish is for a more diverse roster. I did a roster wish list a few weeks ago, and I'll link it here as well, but without going back through the whole wish list, I just want Mortal Kombat 12 to have a more diverse cast of characters, not just the same arcade trilogy characters over and over again. Don't neglect the 3D era characters, and keep some, but not all, of the NRS era characters around to help the roster stand out, rather than just being MK9 with a handful of characters swapped out. Most importantly of all, bring back Havoc. I'm going to say this every video from now on, bring back Havoc. Moving on to number 3, I want to talk about more stages, and not to be overly critical of Mortal Kombat X, but it was seriously lacking in stages, and all the stages in it were quite bland visually. Mortal Kombat 11 definitely improved upon this by introducing a few more diverse stages, whilst also bringing back some revamped classics, and I want MK12 to continue this trend. I would also love it if on top of new stages and classics, they brought back a few more of the wackier stages from the 3D era, like the Takunin Warship from Armageddon or the Yin Yang Island from Deception. Let's get some more visually interesting stages and design more stage fatalities around them. Oh, and I also want Outworld to be purple again. Enough of this desert crap that they have going on in MKX and MK11. Just bring back the purple skies. It's not that hard, don't know why they got rid of it, but whatever. Moving on to number 4, let's talk a bit about gameplay. I want this game to feel closer to Mortal Kombat X in terms of gameplay rather than Mortal Kombat 11. The gameplay in 11 just wasn't cutting it for me, and most of the community online seems to agree that MKX was just a lot more fun to play and watch, and wasn't too difficult to learn, but still allowed you to become really good with practice. When it comes to the variation system, I'm easy either way, take it or leave it, but bring back the fast-paced, high-intensity gameplay of Mortal Kombat X. Moving on to number 5, let's talk about story possibilities. I'd like to see the Conquest mode return as the story. Have a new protagonist, or an existing one, it's up to NRS. Go around an open world and encounter characters along the way to fight as the story develops. Think more along the lines of Deception's Conquest mode, not so much Deadly Alliance or Armageddon's, although Armageddon was quite good to play, I won't lie. Out of everything on this list, I feel like this is the least likely to happen, but a man can dream. Moving on to some things I don't want to see in Mortal Kombat 12, I'm going to start with the gear system. God, I hate the gear system. And I hate gear systems in all games. Just get rid of it altogether, especially since these characters only had a handful of gear that was cool. The rest of it all sucked. There was like 30 pieces that Melina had, and one of them was good, maybe 2 of them were good, the rest of them were just shit, and no one uses them. So that was with every character on the roster as well. I only mention Melina as an example because she came to mind. Not to mention unlocking the gear through the crypt and the Living Towers sucked hardcore. Just stick to skins and maybe keep the shaders with the alternate colours, but get rid of the gear system altogether. Speaking of Living Towers, get rid of them completely, never bring them back ever. In Mortal Kombat X, they were kind of pointless since they just gave you a profile banner or an achievement, plus they weren't super annoying to do. But in Mortal Kombat 11, oh my god, they sucked ass. The modifiers, that dumbass gauntlet tower, the character towers that require you to do like 50 fatalities with Garrus to unlock the tower, and the stupid raid towers where you have to play with someone online to fight a bot that had 5 times the normal amount of health. The bot did double damage and had like 18 modifiers to protect them. Get rid of it, never bring it back. It was the stupidest game mode and one of NRS's worst decisions ever. I'll stand by that forever. Another little side activity I feel like NRS put too much effort to was the crypt. Don't get me wrong, the crypt is very cool, and I feel like the crypt is the first step towards a modern conquest mode, but I also feel like the time they spent on the crypt could have just gone elsewhere, especially in Mortal Kombat 11. The crypt in MKX was fine, and personally I hope they go back to just a simpler crypt in the future and dedicate those valuable resources elsewhere to flesh out the rest of the game. Oh, and the timed events in the crypt suck too. Don't make us rush to get stuff, just let us unlock it by playing the game normally, man. Especially when you've got to go out of your way to turn the game on and go track down wherever this 24-hour chest in the crypt is, just to get a crappy piece of gear for Garrus. And then, again, speaking of Garrus, this one's mainly for the lols, but let's keep Garrus the fuck away from this game. Far away. Keep him at the bottom of the bloody sea from MK11, where he fell down, and never bring him back. I hate Garrus, and I genuinely believe he's one of the worst characters in the whole franchise. He is one of the #1 things I don't want to see return in MK12. Moving on to number 5 of the things that I don't want to see, and my final talking point is guest characters. Yes, I know people love them and they make casual audiences come back to the game more often, but NRS has been getting out of hand with the guests lately. 1 per DLC pack is fine, maybe even 2 if it's a 6 character pack, but half the DLC shouldn't be guests. Especially when there's so many Mortal Kombat characters who haven't been playable in years, and these DLC spots are being given to people like the Terminator, who 80% of his moveset was just ripped from Jason from MKX, another guest, and pick them better as well. I don't mind Spawn, and Alien vs Predator was cool, but Joker, Rambo, and Robocop were such dumb choices for a Mortal Kombat game, and I'm not even sorry for saying that. That was just a horrible choice, and I so regret getting the combat pack. Alrighty guys, that brings us to the end of this video. Please let me know in the comments what things you'd like to see in Mortal Kombat 12 and some things you don't want to see. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already, and share this video with your friends to see more Mortal Kombat content in the future. Tune in back to my channel for news and discussion updates surrounding MK12 in the future. Peace out guys.